This vegetarian breakfast casserole is super simple to make, and it's perfect whether you're looking to feed a crowd or if you just want to prep breakfast for the week. It's made with all of the classic breakfast casserole ingredients, just without the meat. We're using fresh veggies like mushrooms and peppers paired with vegetarian sausages and a bunch of cheddar cheese for an ultra cheesy and flavorful breakfast. Hi, I'm Cassidy and welcome to my channel if you're new here. I share easy vegetarian recipe videos every single week. If you hit subscribe, you'll never miss a new video. So I make this breakfast casserole pretty much every single year because growing up, my family always had breakfast casserole on Christmas morning. When I went vegetarian, I still wanted the breakfast casserole for Christmas morning breakfast every single year, just without the meat. So what I do is I make pretty much the exact same recipe. We're using hash browns as the base, eggs with mushrooms and peppers, and then we're using meatless sausages. I choose the maple flavored Morningstar kind, but you can use whatever kind you prefer. We start off by prepping our mushrooms. I'm using 4 ounces of mushrooms to get about half a cup of diced mushrooms. I like to make them into small pieces. We will be sauteing them, but just so that you don't have a big chunk of mushroom in your casserole. We're also going to chop up some bell pepper. I am using a red bell pepper. I also want 1/2 cup of this, and those are our main veggies here. We're keeping it pretty simple, but you can always add in some yellow onion and just omit the onion powder. You can add in a handful of spinach, shallot, whatever kind of veggie you want to throw on in there. Now it's time to head over and saute these veggies, and I recommend sauteing them because it removes a lot of the moisture, which prevents the egg casserole from getting soggy. And while those are sauteing, I'm also going to take these hash browns and cook them just the slightest bit in a cast iron skillet. This will give them a bit of crisp and golden brown color, and that just makes them overall more flavorful. You can skip this step if you prefer, but you do need to thaw the hash browns before putting them in the casserole. The same rule applies. We don't want a soggy casserole. I'm also going to take these veggie sausages and cook them according to the package instructions, so that'll take about 5 to 6 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. We'll start by turning the heat to medium-high, and then once that's hot, we can go ahead and add in some olive oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the skillet. We can start by adding those veggie sausages, add in a diced mushroom, and all of the red bell pepper. And we'll cook those peppers and mushrooms until they're softened, about 5 to 6 minutes. When the sausage is cooked through, make sure to cut it all up so that it's kind of a ground consistency. I usually just use my spatula, but you could also just take a knife on a cutting board and chop it up that way. To make the egg filling, we're just going to crack 8 eggs into a bowl. Once the 8 eggs are in the bowl, go ahead and add 1/2 cup of milk. I'm using unsweetened, unflavored soy milk because that's just what I keep on hand. Dairy milk would be the most obvious choice here, but you can really use any kind of milk. I'm also adding in 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Add in a few grinds of freshly ground black pepper, and now we just whisk everything together until those eggs are broken down. You want it to be whisked enough so that the yolks and the whites are fully combined. Now that that's ready, we can go ahead and put everything together. I'm using this 8x11 casserole dish, but any similar size will work here. Before you start, make sure to grease the dish, most importantly, because we do not want the casserole sticking. So I'll just use a little bit of olive oil and make sure it goes all over, including on the sides. The first layer is our hash browns. Spread them out nice and evenly as you can so that they coat the entire bottom of the dish. This is sort of the crust of the casserole. It's not going to get crispy by any means, but it will serve as the bottom layer. All right, and once you have that, go ahead and add in all of your veggies as the second layer. And once we add the eggs, this will all mix together while it's baking. So don't worry about having a big old thick layer of veggies. Spread those out nice and evenly as well. Next, we'll sprinkle on 1 cup of cheddar cheese. This is a super cheesy casserole. You can always mix up the cheeses here and do some mozzarella or some Monterey Jack. Last but not least, the eggs. Pour those on so that everything is evenly coated. You don't want any dry spots, So it is useful if you're using a container that has a spout like this, so you can really aim and cover everything up. From here, I like to put a little more black pepper on top and then throw it in the oven where it will bake for about 35 to 40 minutes. You can tell it's ready when the edges are pulling away, and if you insert a toothpick in the center, it will come out pretty much clean but still a little bit moist. It will also be nice and fluffy on top. I just took it out of the oven and it is looking wonderfully golden. All the cheese is melted. The sausage on the top is nicely browned. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it. This makes about 12 small pieces, but it can easily be 6 pieces if you're a little hungry. It smells so amazing and is bringing back so many good memories of Christmas morning. I think it's finally time to take a bite. It's so good. I just want another bite. As always, the full ingredient list and instructions are on my website at cozypeachkitchen.com. I'm linking that down below in the description. If you like this recipe, leave a thumbs up. That's how I know to make more videos like this. And don't forget to hit subscribe for new vegetarian recipes every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my kitchen next week.